I call to order the public hearing for bylaw 6300, land use bylaw, new. The procedure for this hearing will be, we'll be calling upon Maureen Gehring, Manager of Planning and Development, to provide the background to the case. Those else who wish to speak on this bylaw will then be called upon. We will then ask 3 times if there is anybody else who wishes to make a presentation. Council will then have the opportunity to ask questions of any of the presenters. The hearing will then be closed. Consideration of second and third reading will be made by City Council immediately following the public hearing. I now call upon Maureen Gehring to provide the background to the case.
Good afternoon, Your Worship and members of City Council. Today we're having our public hearing for the land use bylaw review of bylaw 6300. We were here in April 27th, actually at a CIC meeting, and we gave you an extensive presentation at that time, so we're just going to hit some of the high points today. In terms of overview, this is what we'll be covering in the hearing today, and some background information. So why a land use bylaw? This is a really good time for us, especially with the municipal development plan review underway currently, and as well we've listed some reasons for you on the right. And purpose of the land use bylaw and its review. So the land use bylaw is a tool that we use to implement policy and to achieve desired outcomes. There's a balance between public and private interests. Land use bylaw sets process and regulation, and it should be able to accommodate change over time. So in terms of process, we do have a 3-phase process to this project. Right now we're in phase 1, which is doing a new bylaw actually, with a focus on housekeeping. And so for some people, for us, housekeeping is a very, it's a general term that we use quite a bit, but I will use the analogy of for instance, a home renovation project. And so you want to redo a room in your house, so you want to do new painting. So before you actually pick out colors and have all that fun with the painting, you need to actually move all your furniture out of the room, you need to tarp the floor, you need to tape all the windows and all the baseboards, and you need to fill in all the holes. And that's really the process that we're doing right now. So there's not a lot of fun stuff with this particular phase 1. As we get into phase 2 and phase 3, we will be having some interesting discussions, both with the public and with stakeholders and with City Council. So 2 types of changes, and we spoke about this at length at the CIC. Housekeeping, which is just renumbering and formatting, and then as well some things that have been suggested to us by city solicitors. We have included a summary table of all the changes that was also shared with stakeholders just for your benefit. And for engagement and notification, we did spend some time doing online engagement due to COVID. As well, we sent out invitations to some of our stakeholders that actually use the land use bylaw quite a bit. I was able to do a presentation to Build's Developer Council through Zoom. We did get 2 questions back from Build, and as well we got a question regarding landscaping and encroachments. And one gentleman did want a physical copy of the bylaw, which we printed off for him. So in terms of notification, we did the usual, as this is a public hearing, so 2 notices in the Herald, posted on the website. Again, we sent letters to our more frequent stakeholders. We haven't received any additional questions from stakeholders or the public. And so our recommendation today is that you adopt bylaw 6300 and that it comes into effect on September 1st. So this allows staff to actually finish up some of the applications they're currently working on under the current bylaw, which is 5700. And I'm available for questions as well. Pam Calling and Angie Olson are also here as they work with the land use bylaw on a daily basis as opposed to myself.
Questions from council? Okay. All right, I'll ask if there's any member of the public. Okay, is there any member of the public that wishes to make a presentation on this matter? For a second time, is there any member of the public that wishes to make a presentation on this matter? For a third and final time, is there any member of the public that wishes to make a presentation on this matter? Okay. Hearing no other presenters, it's now time for council to ask questions of the presenters. Deputy Mayor Kaufman.
Thank you, Mayor Spearman. Thank you, Ms. Gehring, to you and your staff for the work on this. It's maybe an indication a person's been here too long when this is the second land use bylaw you're actually approving. Not you, you're working on these, it's me in terms of approval. In the summary, obviously it's in the main document as well, on page 3 of the summary, got Section 19, Section 27, and Section 31 identified, and Section 33 all identified regarding the Westminster Area Redevelopment Plan. That has not come to council yet, so has not been approved. This assumes it's going to be approved. These changes should not be included in this until that document is addressed, should they not?
So we have done that in anticipation, that's correct. We did have an official business resolution come to council, and we did present the change then, and did seem to receive positive feedback on making that change. If you wish not to include that change at this time, that's perfectly okay. We can catch it in round 2.
I personally would actually like to see that removed, just because it does presuppose the council is just going to move ahead, and we may or we may not, but it's not either of our places to prejudge what it is that council is doing. And remind me then, the 60 to 100 meter buffer, that was the conversation we had around the
whole public notification process in comparison to other municipalities.
Thank you. There's nothing in the document that's identifying that can be extended. There's no condition under which we would go beyond the 100 meters, correct?
There isn't anything in the land use bylaw. It's been a common practice, though, for instance, if we're on a cul-de-sac, we would notify like everybody in the cul-de-sac. So sometimes we do make a judgment call to extend that. We never do less, but sometimes we may catch a few more houses.
Okay. Does that need to be codified?
That's something that we could look at for phase 2 for sure, if you think that's important, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Spearman.
Any further questions? I see none. Well, thank you for your presentation. It's a mammoth work, so thank you for doing that for us. So there being no further questions, I now declare the public hearing closed. This matter will be decided later this afternoon following the public hearing. It'll take 5 minutes to get the system back up again, so.